give up your needs with that. You don't give in or give up. You have a certain trust in an energy that it works through people. Energy works through people such that if we connect with each other in a certain way, that energy will see to it that everybody's needs get met. See, this has been said by every one of the basic faith claims throughout the planet about how this energy works through people when we connect in a certain way. Christian tradition says, when two or more are gathered in my name, there I am also. So when you connect in a certain way, there I am also. You can see the same thing expressed in all of the basic faith claims. When we connect in a certain way, miracles happen. I was working with 2 tribes in Nigeria. And these tribes, the year before I had been with there was 400 people in the village. The day I was there, 300. 100 people killed in 1 year, 1/4 the population of this village. Trying to resolve a conflict about how many places in the marketplace each tribe, one tribe a Christian tribe, the other a Muslim tribe, would have to display their wares, you see. Both sides, when my colleague, Sammy Izurika, had gone to both chiefs and asked them to kind of meet with me when I came to Nigeria to see if we could resolve this conflict in some way other than violence. They said what most people do in families and in tribes. Oh, we can't talk to this other person, you know, it's no use communicating. We just have a conflict in our needs. The only way the language these people know is violence. Anyway, by his speaking Giraffe, he got both sides to send their chiefs to this day with me. So here I am, and he said to me, my colleague warned me, he said, Marshal, feelings may get pretty high today. There's going to be 3 people in that group that know that their child was killed by somebody in the woods. Be prepared. So now I'm sitting in the middle, each side, chiefs on both sides, and I said, I would like to hear what needs of yours are not getting met, and what you would like from the other side in relationship to that. Because I know that when I can connect these 2 tribes, they'll find a way to get everybody's needs met. No need for violence. I have no doubt about that. I also could pretty much guess that it's not going to be easy for them to answer that question, because in jackal thinking areas, people do not know what they are feeling, needing, or requesting. They just know what's wrong with the other side. So the answer I got back to what are you needing and requesting, one of the Christian chief jumps to his feet and screams across the table, "You people are murderers!" Now, do you think that stimulated compassion on the part of you? Do you think that made them want to be less murderous to this tribe? Labels lead to self-fulfilling prophecies. So he was trying to answer my question. And I've said twice already today, all judgments are tragic expressions of unmet needs. So anywhere there's violence, you can just about bet. If you ask people what their needs are, their first reaction is going to be violent judgments toward the other. I was in Toronto, Canada, between a husband and wife who were beating each other, physically beating each other. I asked them the same question. What are you both needing that you're not getting? And what is your request of the other person? And the husband looks over at the wife and says, "You are totally insensitive to my needs." And she says, "That's unfair." Then, how can you get to anything but violence when people, the only language they have for trying to make their needs known sounds to other people like an attack? So my job as a mediator in such situations, and I know that a few of you are very interested in the subject of mediation, so you see, my job as a mediator is basically 2 jobs. Translation of jackal into giraffe, which requires this technology to have these ears. Because now when this person says murderer, with these ears, I can hear this. I can hear this. These screen out any judgments. So I cannot hear any judgments of others with these ears in. All I can hear are feelings, needs, requests. That's all I can hear. It's a wonderful invention. So, but I can't always hear the right feelings. So that's why I have to put it in a question. So I said to the chief, when things calm down, because of course as soon as he says that, chief number 2 jumps to his feet and screams back, "You people have been dominating us for 80 years, we're not going to tolerate it!" So judgment begets judgment. Violence begets violence. So I have to calm things down. Hold it, excuse me, please. Fortunately, I had a translator who knew how to say, "Excuse me," very well. He'd say, "Stop." I didn't speak the language of these tribes. They speak Hausa. I speak no Hausa. So, anyway, I said to the chief, who says, "Murderers!" I said, "Chief, so you are frightened of any violence being used to resolve issues. And if I hear you correctly, you have a need that no matter what the conflict is, it be resolved some way other than violence. Is that what your need is?" "That's exactly what I'm saying." Well, he didn't say exactly that. He said something quite different. He said, "These people are murderers." So, you see, that's one of my jobs as a mediator. I don't take sides. I don't even worry too much about how to solve the problem, because I find that when people get connected at this level, the problem solves itself. And this is probably the #1 difference between our approach to mediation and how some people are trained to mediate. Some people who are mediating spend almost all of their studies trying to find what both sides can agree to. I was in Austria not long ago working with some professional mediators, and one of the mediators said, "Dr. Rosenberg, before you go into an area like Nigerian and so forth, how many months do you study the political situation?" I said, "To tell you the truth, I often don't know what's going on until I get in the room, because I don't feel I have to know much about it. I find most issues that drive nations to war, millions of people are killed. Most 6-year-olds, I'm convinced, could solve the conflict. Most 6-year-olds, if you knew what everybody was needing, it's not going to be that hard. But now, obviously, message sent doesn't mean a message is received because of that damn jackal postal delivery service. So, I want to be sure that the other side meets. So that skill I told you about earlier, pulling jackals by the ears, that's a second skill I have to have as a mediator. I have to now pull each side by the ears to make sure they get the giraffe message and not the old jackal message. So I said, would one of the chiefs over on this side of the table be willing to tell me what chief number 1 just said? "They're liars! You can't believe a thing they say! Who's liars?" Excuse me. I'm going to give you a chance to react later, but could you first tell me what he said his feelings and needs were? "I don't know. Let me tell you what I heard him. I heard him saying he's scared of using violence for any conflict to resolve anything." "Then why did he kill my child?" "We'll deal with that next. Before you, can you at least repeat back what he said?" "Say it again." "I hear him saying he feels frightened. He has a need to be sure that no matter what conflicts are resolved, that they will be resolved in some way other than violence." I had to repeat it about 4 times. We all know how hard it is to communicate. We've probably all played the game telephone. You ever play that at a party where you have a simple message that the dog is black, and you say that to the person next to you. By the time it gets 5 or 6 down the line, it's a totally, monkeys eat cheese or something. So it's not easy to communicate, especially when there's emotions involved. And it's more than the emotions, prejudicial thinking, classifications, you see. Classifications, judgments, and that gets in there. It blocks us from seeing the humanness of the other person. We're so trained to seeing people as conforming to our fixed images of them. It's hard to give up those fixed images. So for 80 years, these two tribes have been at war. They each had fixed images of each other. So I had to do some ear pulling before I could just get this person to say back. So he's saying he's scared. There's a need to have conflicts resolved without violence. Thank you, Chief, for hearing that. Now, I'd like to hear your feelings and needs. I told you before, these people have been trying to dominate us, and we're not going to tolerate it. Who's been trying? Hold it. So now, once again, I put on my ears and I translate that into feelings and needs. What is he needing when he says they have been trying to dominate us? So I said, Chief, you feel annoyed, if I'm hearing you correctly, because you have a need for equality. Of course! So that's your need that isn't getting met. That's right! Chief, could you tell me back? What do you mean? That's not true! Excuse me. See, pulling by the ears. And now I get this chief to hear the other side. In about 20 more minutes, the chief that hadn't said anything, who was sitting next to me, scared the devil out of me because he jumped up. He jumped to his feet and he says, not at the other tribe, but he says to me, and you know, very often, since I don't sometimes get as much cultural information as I might like, I say things that steps on toes and so forth. So I thought for sure, oh my goodness, what did I forget? Because Sammy had told me a few things like this on the drive there. Now, got to be sensitive to this. So I said, now what did I forget? Waiting eagerly for my translator to tell me what faux pas I have made. But I love the message. I loved it. The chief said, we cannot learn this in one day. And if we can speak this way, we don't have to kill each other. Wow. So here's a man from quite a different culture than the one that I live in. But in about 2 hours could see that if we can speak this way, we don't have to kill each other. It's absolutely unnecessary.
But you ask people, what are your needs?
Yes, but notice, I didn't ask him, I didn't say, what are you needing? I guessed. That's what you do with these ears, you see. And that gets people in touch with it. So I'm focusing their attention here. See, with these ears on, I'm too smart to ever hear anything that comes out of a jackal's head. Incidentally, if you can learn not to hear what a jackal thinks, you'll live long. What does it do to us every time we hear somebody say, that was a stupid thing for you to do?
Takes a little piece of us away.
It takes a piece of us away. And if I say to myself when I make an error, that was a stupid thing to do. So there's a lot of studies coming out lately to show just what effect jackal ears have on our heart. Terrible. Those are not natural feelings. Those are punitive feelings. You see. So, now this person doesn't know what his needs are. He's never been taught to think of his needs. He's been taught to judge people. So, but I know that at the root of those judgments is a need. I know that, and it's not hard to guess these once you practice, because all human beings have the same needs. So even though I am in Africa, in northern Nigeria, quite different cultural background, I have the same needs. So what needs of mine would I be expressing if I was judging somebody as a murderer? So I've practiced that, so I have a guess about what the need might be. And in that way I help the person to find it. But if I just say, what are you needing? Not likely to get there as quickly as if I help the person by guessing.
And how do you frame the question to them?
Are you feeling and needing? Are you feeling scared?
No. How do you get it going? What do you first say to them?
Well, the very first thing I say is I say to them, I'd like to explain my role. My role today is going to be, I'm going to translate every jackal statement into giraffe and pull jackals by the ears until they hear the other person. But I clean that up a bit. I don't use jargon. So instead of saying I'm going to translate jackal into giraffe, I say my role today as a mediator will be if I hear you expressing something that I think is going to get in the way of you getting your needs met, I'll reformulate it. But I'm not going to distort your message. I'll always check with you to make sure that what I'm translating you feel is a better representation of what you want to say. So I explain ahead of time that that's my role. I'm a translator of messages about needs that I think are not likely to get through. And then I say my other role will be to make sure the message sent is message received. So I'll do my best to make sure that we are hearing what the other side is saying. So those are my two roles. So that was the first thing I said. I skipped that in my story. So now, the very first question I said is, now, I really believe that if we can keep our conversation at the level of feelings, needs, and requests, I'm confident we can resolve this to everybody's satisfaction. So to get started at that, I would like either side who wants to start to tell me what your needs are, what your feelings are, what needs are not getting met, and how do you feel about that. Let's start with that to begin with. Even though, as I say, if people are inviting me to mediate, I can almost guarantee they don't know how to answer those questions. The first thing I'm going to hear is judgment. And I used to do couples weekends when I was living in St. Louis. And at the beginning of these workshops, I would identify the couple that had the longest standing conflict that couldn't be resolved, and predict that we would resolve the conflict within 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes after both sides could tell me what the other side was feeling and needing in this conflict. So, first thing we do is we identify the couple with longest conflict. Couple we identified once, married 39 years. Conflict about money. Wife says to me, Marshall, you're going to lose your prediction here, I'll tell you that. We communicate quite well. We have a very good marriage. We just have an unresolvable conflict. We have different needs about money. So, I've been wrong before, but remember what I said. At the point at which you can both tell me what the other side is needing, I'll bet you we can resolve it within 20 minutes. She says, Marshall, when you've been married to somebody 39 years, you know what he needs. Okay, what does he need? He doesn't want me to spend any money. Now, first of all, that's not what I would call a need. If it was accurate, it would be a request, not a need. But it's not a need. Needs contain no reference to specific people or action. Needs are universal. Every human being has the same needs. So it was clear that I hadn't made clear to her what a need even was.
Could you just...
Yes, but needs contain no reference to specific people or actions. See, we don't have a need for guns. We have a need for protection, to be protected, to be safe. And in some cultures, they believe that the strategy for meeting the need is to get a gun. That's why in this state, 50% of the people have weapons. Now, even though the chances are, the statistics show that a member of their family is much more likely, 3 times as likely to be killed by that gun, as that gun is going to help them protect themselves from something else. Still, half the families in Texas have guns. Anyway, but the point is that you don't have a need for it. But everybody has the same need to protect themselves. You see. So I never say to people when I'm working in cultures that are using guns and violence, I never say, to study with me, you have to give up your gun. I say, I'll bet you I can show you a better way of meeting your needs. Keep the gun until I can do it. Don't give up the gun until I show you a better way of meeting the need. I never say to somebody, I want you to stop drinking or stop taking drugs. Those are strategies that are meeting needs. I say, I'll bet you I can show you a better way of meeting your needs than taking drugs or drinking. Until I do, drink. Take it if you're meeting your need. No, I drink because I'm an alcoholic. Oh, that's what they told you. That's a jackal way. You think there is such a thing as an alcoholic? Yes, the doctor said yes. As long as you think that way, you will drink. I'm asking, why do you drink? I'm an alcoholic. Why don't you talk to people at parties? I'm shy. Static thinking. So needs contain no reference to specific actions. So when she says, he's saying that he doesn't want me to spend any money, he said back immediately, that's ridiculous. So she hadn't even understood his strategy. That wasn't even accurate. So I said, well, apparently he doesn't agree. At first, that isn't what I would call a need. And he doesn't even agree that that's an accurate statement, that he doesn't want you to spend money. Now, this is after 39 years of communication. And I said, what are his needs? And then I gave her a couple-minute explanation of what I meant by needs and so forth, to differentiate them from requests. What are his needs? She said, well, Marshall, let me explain his needs to you. You see, he's just like his own father. I said, stop. Every word of analysis you give me, that's psychoanalytic jackal, explaining why people do things with reference to what happened to them in the past. That kind of intellectual understanding, even if it's accurate, is destructive, because it gets in the way of empathy. It keeps us from seeing what's alive in that person right now, which is feelings and needs. That's what we need to have our attention on. So what are his feelings and needs? She couldn't answer that question. So I said to him, can you help? What are your needs in this situation? He said, Marshall, let me explain something to you. She is a wonderful mother. She is a wonderful wife, but totally irresponsible when it comes to spending money. I said, now I can see why it has taken 39 years and you can't solve it. I just asked you for what your needs are, and you just told me a diagnosis of her. So I had to then put on my ears and help both sides hear each other's needs. But first to get them expressed, identified and expressed, and then to pull the jackal by the ears to hear it. When we got there, it didn't take 20 minutes to solve the conflict. Now, but it took 2 hours. 2 hours to cut through all the analysis, because each time I would try to get them to focus just on what their needs are. They want to tell me about what happened in the past to justify their diagnosis. I have to keep stopping. Excuse me, that's not what I'm asking. What do you... So that's why it took us 2 hours to get both sides clear about their needs and to have the other person hear it. Then it didn't take 20 minutes. Every bit of talk about what happened in the past is going to make it harder. And that's why when I train psychotherapists, I help them to see that every bit that the other person is talking about what happens to them in the past, even though you've been trained to encourage them to talk about the past. I think the time could be used much more powerfully if we get clear what feelings are alive in them still in relationship to them. What are their needs that are still not being met? That's alive now. The past is dead. See, Giraffe requires living in the present, because these are what am I presently feeling and needing and requesting. The only thing that relates to the past, you might make an observation about what somebody did in the past, but that's about 2% of the message. You want the message to focus on the life that's alive right now, what's in this heart. That's where the power is to resolve differences. The purpose of this of interrupting people who are talking about the past is not to take the conversation away from them. Interrupt. It's to bring the conversation to life in a way that will get this person what they're trying to get. You see, some people, if I were to label them in a jackal way, I would label them Babylonians. They belong to an organization called On and On Anonymous. On and On Anonymous. They talk forever about things, and now I assume you all know how to deal with that situation. You wait for them to breathe, and then quick say, "Oh, excuse me, I just remembered my house is on fire," and you're out of there, right? Now, that's one way to handle it. But there's another way that I think would be better for both sides, and that is, you see, what people don't realize is that talking about what happened is not going to meet their present needs. But they're not aware of their present needs. They've got a need, or they wouldn't be talking about it. So they're talking about something that could have happened 20 years ago. Like I had, and I suspect each of you has a member of Babylonian in your family. In my case, it was a poor aunt who for 37 years really was telling the same story. And you know, as soon as she would come toward the house, everybody would try to hide under the bed. I mean, after so many times, you can't stand hearing the story again, right? Now, why was she telling that story 37 years? Because she was carrying pain within herself for those 37 years that she was needing to do something about it. But she didn't know how to identify the pain which was present. It was still with her, still alive in her. So instead, she talked about this dead thing that had happened. But that was the only way she knew of trying to deal with the pain inside. I wish then I had known Giraffe years, because I would have known how to interrupt her, which would be to interrupt, to get her focused on what is her present feeling and need in telling the story. Now, I think what you will find, people will feel more understood if you do that than if you just politely let them talk. And then you can use your time in a much more effective way. So I don't have to feel the trust. I just have to do what I can do to let that energy work. And all of a sudden, miracles start to happen when we finally got people connected enough at that level to see the humanness for even a few seconds of the other side, what they were feeling and needing. The moment that starts to happen, miracles start to happen.